Jesus' name.
Amen. Good day, viewers. You are welcome to Moment with Papa J. Here with me, I have PJ with me. You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Today's edition of Moment with Papa J, we will be discussing a topic which states the repercussion of the lack of intimacy in a marital relationship. So now, people might want to ask that, okay, you are saying repercussion of the lack of what? Intimacy, in a marital relationship. When they say what is a repercussion, we are talking about the adverse negative effects that happens as a result of lack of intimacy, which can be sponsored by an action or statement which comes out bad. And when we talk about intimacy, we might say intimacy can be categorized or stated as a deep or what? A profound connection, bonding between two people. And we have various aspects of intimacy. We have the emotional, we have the physical, and we have the spiritual. And this encompasses, it involves what we call vulnerability, openness, and what? Communication. So, sir, today we want to talk about this topic, and this topic is a very, very, very nice topic. So I want to ask you, sir, what can be, as a lack of intimacy, can it sponsor emotional consequences on the other partner? I want you to elaborate and explain to us.
Yeah, thank you, Bayo. I am going to start with an illustration.
Okay.
I am giving this to the public because I have to have a word with the person in concern.
Okay.
That I'll be sharing her experience, and she gladly obliged.
Okay.
That I share experience without mentioning her name. So, many years ago, as a young pastor, I wasn't married. I had this deaconess in my church.
Okay.
Something led to something. I had to engage in a conversation. Deaconess, how are you doing? I was a pastor. When we say, pastor, things are not going well. I asked, how is business?
Okay.
So, pastor, business is standstill. And I also asked, how is your spiritual life? You know, as pastor, you believe everything is prayer. How is your spiritual life? Say, pastor, I can't lie to you. I don't pray. I've started reading my Bibles. Things are just working well. And I know that with my little experience, when the spiritual life of a woman is not going well, and her financial life is not going well, it is not far from being an emotional problem. So I asked her, how is your sex life with your husband? She burst into laugh because I was a young pastor. I wasn't married. And the next thing was, pastor, what do you know about sex and marriage? Come on, you're not married. And I said, deaconess, can you talk to me about it? Because I can perceive what you're having. The root cause of all your problems could mean emotional disconnection from your spouse. It took her over 1 week to agree to talk to me. It's expected. I wasn't married. Her husband was in my church. She was in the church. After about a week, she called me, pastor, let me open up to you. Lo and behold, everything happening around her was a fallout of the lack of intimacy with her husband.
Okay.
For over 6 months, they've not shared intimacy as man and wife. And so it affected her emotionally, which caused a disconnect in her work with God and caused a lack of attention to her business. So you can see that it's spiral.
Okay.
When a spouse is having that disconnect, the lack of intimacy, it shatters every aspect of us. You mentioned spiritual, you mentioned physical, you mentioned emotional, even our health, even the finance.
Okay, sir.
That's how God wired it to be. And so the lack of intimacy in a marriage can affect the totality of man and bring everything to a stop. That's how powerful it is. Yes.
Okay, sir. From the analysis you've just mentioned now, so you are trying to make me understand that the lack of intimacy,
yes,
it will affect the overall health and the satisfaction in the marriage.
The fact is, marriage is bonding.
Okay.
And there are many ways to bond in the marriage.
Okay.
One of them is that intimacy.
Okay, sir.
Let us narrow it to sexual intimacy. it bonds, it
Okay.
breaks barrier, it builds communication, it builds affection, it increases the love for one another.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Okay,
And
sir.
so when there is no intimacy in a marital relationship, that marriage is on its way to death.
Okay. Sir, another question I would like to ask you. There are two questions in one. Firstly, can the lack of intimacy sponsor what? Communication breakdown
Okay.
and emotional distance.
Okay, Pastor Bayo, you just hit it on the head.
Yes.
The easiest way to communicate within the confines of a marriage
Okay.
is intimacy. Now, let us, like I said again, sexual intimacy. Sir, nothing shatters communication like that. It builds barrier when you lack it in your marriage. So it doesn't just break down communication, it shatters everything about the marriage. Then it brings about emotional wreck. Don't forget, that is one of the root cause of depression, frustration, stress on either party. And of course, it opens them up to extramarital affairs because God created man to relate. Human being, we are relationship being. We're created to relate. And so when you share a relationship in marriage and your partner denies you of such intimacy, emotionally, you are finished.
Okay.
And of course, communication is gone.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Another question I would like to ask you. The lack of intimacy in a marital relationship, can it lead to what I call infidelity or divorce?
Certainly. In fact, let me start with the last part, divorce. In Nigeria, where we live,
Yes, sir.
you cannot file for a divorce until this part is fulfilled.
Okay.
Your spouse, you and your spouse must have stayed without sexual intimacy for at least 12 months. It's a ground for divorce.
12
So,
months.
12 solid months. Now, I will shock you. There are women out there that they've not had such intimacy in over 2 years, and men vice versa. So, in a Nigerian law, if if each of you as a party, you've stayed away for 12 months and you approach the court, that's one of the boxes for divorce, except for separation. All right. The court will graciously grant that because you have not shared intimacy in 1 year.
Okay.
So it opens up, of course, to extramarital affairs. The truth of the matter is, human being is created for that urge to be fulfilled. And so when either spouse deny or deprive each other of that, you are exposing your family to such because it's an urge that needs to be filled. It is like one thirsty. When you are thirsty, what do? You take water. When you are hungry, you eat food. Even within the Christian.
Okay.
So it exposes either party to extramarital affairs.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, you made a point earlier on. You talked about a deaconess in your church
Yeah.
when you started ministry. Then you were young. You were not married then. I want to ask you, sir, why is it that most Christians or people in general, they shy away from that emotional intelligence when you ask about their sex life? Because I noticed that most people, whenever in Christendom, when you want to talk about sexual intimacy, they are always shy of saying it. They feel that it is carnality. They feel that it's not scriptural. They feel that you are deviating from God's agenda. You know, kind of what sponsors that? Why is the people thinking like that?
Well, I think it's about it's a tradition and it's a very wrong tradition.
Okay.
Okay. Besides the church, even in our tradition, it's not something you come out to say.
Okay.
But the narrative is changing and changing very fast. I can tell you many churches today have seminars where they teach on sex education, even in secondary schools. Some of them do have sex education because it is important to be aware of your body make and your body structures and all that. All right. So it is only but the tradition we grew up with. And but the realities of the times is upon us, and we now know that we must say these things. Today we discuss about them. In my own case, I wasn't married. And so this is a married woman. If I was married, it would have been easier. But it took her time to convince herself that this pastor sounds intelligent. And the truth of the matter is, she was blessed afterward because I had the meeting with her husband. And I had the meeting with the three of them. We had to source some materials, and their marriage got back on track. I get what I'm saying. So yes, people shy away from it because sexual intimacy is holy, it's sacred, it's set apart for a set of people. It shouldn't be something on the public discourse.
Okay. Yes.
Ideally, it shouldn't be, all right? But that it shouldn't be has led many people to be suffering under it. And so today, by God's grace, we have many marriage counselors that can help one navigate through the challenges. So not talking about it initially, yes, is normal, like a tradition, but knowledge is increasing.
Okay.
And now people now talk about it, yes.
I would like to ask you another question, sir. But viewers, please don't forget to subscribe on this station. I'd like to ask you another question, sir.
Yes, sir.
The lack of intimacy in a marital relationship, can it create any imbalance?
Imbalance in what way?
Okay, in terms of control of power, in terms of, both genders, both the husband and the wife, one might be saying, okay, no, it's like because you are not communicating, it's about sharing your thoughts, your feelings. And some of the, either the husband or the wife might be used that as an advantage, you understand, to take charge, to be in charge. So I want to ask, can it create an imbalance in the marital relationship?
Certainly. You see, my brother, the impact of lack of this in our homes cannot be imagined. It brings about low self-esteem.
Okay.
It damages the personality of your spouse. It makes them to lose value of themselves. It makes them to feel dirty. Not it means to deny yourself of yourself. Even the Bible tells us not to try it. That even if you want to do in the name of fasting, after fasting, run back. Do you understand? Now, imbalance, yes, because the moment you deny your spouse that intimacy, one, she's losing respect for you.
Okay.
Your spouse that is constantly communicated with in that aspect will always respect you. But the moment you, for any reason, cause a breach in that, you lose your respect. You lose your value. The truth is, she won't value for a penny because a vital part of his or her life has been disregarded.
Okay.
All right, so that it can never remain the same. And it is one of the reasons the reasons of divorce we have today. I always joke with people, when you meet a man and the wife having a problem, you ask the man, what's the problem? He tells you, ask the woman. And you meet the woman, he tells you, don't mind the woman, meet the man. When nobody is forthcoming with the cause of the problem, it is sexual intimacy. That's the truth from my little encounter with people. All right. And so it brings about everything negative to the home.
Sir, when you talk about sexual intimacy, is it the major cause that sponsors divorce in a marriage? But what about when we talk about like spiritual aspects, probably your beliefs? At times, sometimes
As a cause of divorce.
as cause of divorce, can that one also sponsor it?
Okay, we focus on the emotional part in this discourse because for me, that is the fulcrum, that is the nucleus of it.
Okay.
We have the physical part of man. We have his financial part.
Yes, sir.
We have his health part. We have a spiritual. We have the emotional. All right.
Yes, sir.
No matter your spirituality, when your emotion is being tampered with, you are a wreck. Many years ago, what we used to hear in our workplace is IQ, intelligent quotient, high IQ and all that. It is off the line. What we have today is what? Emotional intelligence. So you can have high intelligent quotient and emotionally you are not stable. You will even scatter the office. You'll be sacked.
That's true.
So those days we employ somebody for being intelligent, But now we go beyond being intelligent to check how emotionally stable you've become.
Okay.
That's to tell us how vital our emotional part is. And that is where intimacy is formed.
Yeah.
All right. So intimacy is what settles other aspects. Trust me, a woman that is sad on the bedroom may not have the need to go to her office in the morning. Even if she get to her office, her mood, everybody will know that this woman is sad. That's how God has wired humans. I must respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So, if it's the cause of divorce, mainly, no. I just told us that in Nigeria, for example, one of the reasons for which a court will grant your prayers for a divorce is that your partner has not been sexually involved with you for 1 year, at least 1 year. It's one of the clauses, right? Then there are other ways, of course, for which divorce can take place. But trust me, when a partner or when a couple can be away for 1 year, look at it. Don't you think there's a distance already? Even the devil, the spiritual thing you talked about, the devil can now catch in on that space and exploit their vulnerability. So even your spirituality in the area of marriage is subject to your emotional stability.
Okay.
If you are not settled emotionally, you cannot be spiritual. People will tell me, hey, Pastor, spirituality controls everything. It is not true. In the area of marriage. Don't tell me it is true. It is not true, sir. I finished preaching as a pastor. I preached powerfully. The anointing moved, and I got to the house. And I want to cuddle my wife. And she tells me, young man, hold on. I will react in range. I was only going to please help me because I'm already boiling. It happens 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. After 1 week, I will tell my wife, don't try me. I can drop this Bible. I get what I'm saying. So we must balance these things. Yes, man is spiritual by creation, but God in his mercy gave us his soul, the psychic that controls our emotion. Pay attention to it. Don't defraud one another.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
From all what you have analyzed, and you made instance of probably somebody's working in an organization and the person does decided to stay. That means the lack of intimacy can sponsor loneliness.
Certainly it does.
And isolation.
Yes, it does.
So I'd like to ask you, how can somebody, you understand, get out of it and communicate with his spouse?
Now, for couple who are experiencing it,
okay,
how do they come out of it? You see, the first thing is to communicate, and there are many ways to communicate. I still make reference to our earlier session on this platform, and I want to plead with our viewers. Take your time to go through all our sessions. They are linked to make us better. Please, it's important. Now, I talked about relationship structures.
Okay.
If my wife, for example, is denying me of my conjugal rights, and I've pleaded as a man, I should seek help in my structure. It could be my pastor. It could be her parents. It could be my parents.
Okay.
All right. But the first thing is, do not die in silence. Look for somebody that you believe in. Somebody you trust that your husband or your partner also have respect for. Go discuss with the person. It's important. We don't subscribe to third parties in marriage, but there are situations that may arise that you may need to involve one or two persons who have understanding and have exposure. Do you understand?
Okay.
So how do I come out of it? Number one, look for somebody. Talk to somebody. Somebody your husband can believe in. I get what I'm saying.
Yes,
Talk about it. Don't keep it. You don't keep escalations. You throw them out. Talk to somebody you believe in. And from there you can take it up. That is, if that is the only problem in your marriage. Why is it necessary we talk? We can now know why there is that distance, that disconnect. Is it that he is angry? Is it that he doesn't find you appealing? Or you are not dressing the way he likes? A lot of things could have caused it. Okay? And so if you don't talk about it, you won't know. And he may not be comfortable telling you. Is it that he's seeing someone that does better in the other room?
Okay.
Discuss with somebody. All right. And that is why I advise couples and even intending couple, have somebody like a structure over your relations is important that can prayerfully guide you. Don't just pray, that has understanding of life, because not everything is prayer. Like this one now does not require binding the devil. It needs talking.
Thank you very much, sir, for another time. It's Moment with Papa J. Viewers, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you.